at 90 in the month of March, and I think they are marching around the entire country to project the culture of the people of Ghana. Thankfully, Dagbon is not left out. Yesterday you were in Yendi, and today you are in the traditional area of, this is Sanaru, but I am representing Sanaru, representing Guchara, and all the Western Dagbon.
Okay.
Paramounts and divisions, I am representing them today. We thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to be on this show.
Okay.
But before we commence, let me acknowledge our overlord of Dagbon, and then Yana of Bakari, the fifth. And then let me also acknowledge my grandfather and my good friend, the paramount chief of Sagnaru traditional area. And let me also acknowledge the grandfather of the Sanarna, that is the Guchana Al-Haji Al-Hassan Abdullah, the paramount chief of Gucharo traditional area, in whose palace I am the chief scribe.
Right.
Now let me acknowledge the entire chieftaincy circles in Dagbon. My regards to all chiefs, right from the overlord to the elders, my regards to all of them.
Absolutely. I'm sure we've heard you from far and near. Chief, let's go into the conversation. Follow our conversation on GTV Ghana. On Facebook, we're streaming live. They want to understand what the Chieftaincy institution, the structure is like when it comes to Northern region.
Thank you very much. Let me just say the chieftaincy structure. I don't know whether we have a type anywhere in Ghana. Maybe we have to do our checks and then see. But let me just say that it starts from the overlord to the elder in Dagbon. We have the overlord whose seat is in Yendi. And then under the overlord, we have paramount chiefs. And then we have divisional chiefs. We have sub-divisional chief. And then we have elders. That is under the Dagbon. That is our traditional, our hierarchy in Dagbon.
Okay.
Now, zeroing that to Guchagu. Guchagu, we are a paramountcy. And now Guchagu, there is something very unique about Guchagu and few other paramouncies. Guchagu, when you ascend to the throne of Guchagu, that is your end.
Okay.
You don't go anywhere again.
Okay.
And that is why Guchana and few other chiefs who are of his likes shave their wives.
Oh.
And they also don't wear anything apart from the cloth.
Oh.
That is why they have the title, the grandfather of the overlord.
Okay.
So, yes, so that is Guchagu. And then under Guchagu too, we have about 36 divisional chiefs under Guchena. And then as for sub-divisional chiefs, there are more than 90. And then elders and what have you. And then let me also put it on record that in Guchagu, we have chieftaincy titles for women.
Right.
Yes, we have the Katarga Tindampara. She's a woman.
So she's a chief, but she's a woman.
Yes, she's a woman. And then if you go to Katarga, Katarga shares boundary with Kamina Barracks. And then that is on the eastern side.
Road, okay.
Yes, and then on the western side, it shares boundary with Tampe, Kuku, and Swana, Yile, Kurgu, and others. So yes, it's a very big town. And then we also have titles like Shillong. Shillong is a direct title under the Guchena. So Chwana is the first, the first son of the Guchena, and then Urshana, that is where Ghana Senior High School is. Urshana is the last son among the 36 divisions.
Okay.
Yes, so that is how our structure is. Absolutely. And then we also have in the palace we have elders and who also hold various titles, but theirs is just in the palace.
Okay.
Yes.
I would like to know some of the chieftaincy seats you can go to ascend to the Yana.
Yes.
Or the schemes you can pass through.
Yes. There are certain requirements. And then the first requirement is that your father might have ascended to the Yendi throne as at the time you were contesting it. So in case your father was a Yana, and then unfortunately you were unable to ascend to the throne, your children can no longer ascend to the Yendi scheme.
Okay.
And then we have 3 main gates which you can pass through to Yendi. And the first gate is Karga. That's the first son of the Yana. And then we have the Savlugu Yuyile. That's the second, and then Myung. Among them, the Myung is the last child.
It's the last baby.
Yes,
okay.
yes, the baby.
Okay.
So yes, these are the gates. And in our Dagbon tradition, in the demise of the Yana, these three chiefs will all have to pack and then go to Yendi. They will remain in Yendi till the final funeral rites is performed. After that, then they get the new Yana, and then those who are unfortunate to have ascended to a throne will go back to wherever
they came from. So that's what you meant when you said Buchao. There's a stopping point for certain.
Yes. We have Buchagu, and we have them like Yelzwele. That is, we have Yelzwele, we have Buchao, we have Sunsong, and then we have a lot of them, and then Gushagu.
All right.
That's why they also wear the red hats. So
the attire also shows.
Yes, so they wear the red hats, and then the appellations, some of the appellations they use to the Yana, same appellations are used to this.
Is it the Lonse?
Yes, we have Gangani and what have you. Yes, so yes, they use it to them.
Right.
For them, that is their end, and because it is their end, they shape their women and also have some benefits of this kind of appellations.
So you've mentioned benefits and the appellations. Let's talk about the responsibilities or roles of the paramountcies.
Yes.
What do paramount chiefs do pertaining development in their community?
Certainly, in every paramountcy, the paramount chief represents the Yana. So indirectly, he's a Yana there because he also draws his powers from the Yana to act on behalf of the Yana in that paramountcy.
So it's like a Dagbon state, and he's a minister.
Yes, he's a minister. Like that's very correct. So they initiate every development. And then if I say they initiated, not necessarily they come now with you, the people within his jurisdiction, you can also bring out initiatives, which if they are worthy of their source, certainly the chief will have to embrace them and then support in getting them work. Okay. Yeah.
I do know that chiefs make requests since we are in a democratic system when it comes to certain social amenities in their communities for duty bearers, let's say politicians or MPs, to be able to fix in the community. Also, there are civil society organizations that are in these communities the chiefs oversee. How is the partnership like?
I think I would say the partnership is super because we have a lot of them supporting in various ways. Rights from, we have right of the child, those whose work is just to ensure the right of the child, those who are there to ensure that the right of the woman and maybe the vulnerable in the society, and then we have those who are also into working with the physically challenged. And of course we have those who come and their purpose is to ensure peace building trainings and whatever, and there are others who also come to initiate capacity building. All these things are there. And there are others who also come to do workshops on governance and then others. We have a lot of them coming in. And I think, yes, we appreciate the work they are doing, even though they may also they may have their challenges in some cases. Yes.
So I want to understand, the chiefs also can operate or as courts in resolving issues. So when it comes to issues of vulnerable people, as you've said, in groups like girls and children, early marriage, certain cultural practices that are said to be harmful to their education, and then, how they can get a livelihood to support them and their family. How do chiefs and traditional authorities approach these matters?
This is a very dicey case. And I'm saying it's dicey because it depends upon the arrangements that goes on there. In this 21st century, we have been hearing of forced marriages, but I don't think this time around they actually pertain on the ground. They are there, we cannot rule it out completely. But there are people who will think that maybe before you can marry now, because if you look at our constitution, they say at age 16. Yes, you can marry, depending upon the arrangement that is on. But where maybe it is going to be coercive or compulsion on the lady, you cannot take any no as an answer. This is where the challenge is. But where maybe it is agreed that no, let's do it this way and that way, and why not?
Okay.
Well, let me just take my wife as an example. She completed SS when I married her, but before the marriage, I assured her that I will support her to educate.
Okay.
And I can assure you that she has a first degree. You know, and then we are even thinking of maybe pushing her further.
Okay.
My second wife completed SS and she's now a trained nurse. I did it. So depending upon the arrangement.
Okay. To empower the girls.
Yeah, you have to empower them. Yes,
okay.
you have to empower them. So where maybe you put all these measures on ground, that I am going to support her to realize her dreams and aspirations, certainly, why not?
When a case, Chief, sorry not to cut, when a case like that comes to the palace, for instance, a family of a young girl, let's say she's 14, 13, in school, are forcing her to marry, you know, an elderly person, or even marry. What is done? How is the understanding?
Certainly, we, like I said, when such cases come, we have to listen to all the
Both
parties.
sides.
When we look at it to be, I mean, if there is an iota of coercion in it, certainly we will not support it.
Okay.
You know, here chiefs are so powerful. When they tell that if you do ABZ, then you have problems with that, certainly people will have to withdraw.
Right.
And in some cases, the chief will put a mechanism to monitor the progress of that girl child to ensure that these things do not happen.
All right.
At times, it also happens at our back. But when they don't report it to you, you will not even know. But when they report it to you, certainly you have to take action.
Let's look at conflict resolution and how traditional leaders, you know, land disputes, marital issues, even, you know, political tension, sometimes, and internally we have recorded issues of police and civilians, how police handle civilians. I did a story, I remember, on how police shot sporadic gunshots, and one died, one young boy died, one was shot in the face, and the tension was pretty much something else in Tamale Metropolis.
Yes, thank you very much for this question. I think those days, in the past, we used to have our own system of governance. We have our own system of justice delivery until the white man came. When they came, they cunningly imposed their laws on us, and at a point in time, they were forced to obey those laws. So, and that has taken 70 to 90% of our powers as traditional authorities. Thank God, when we gained our independence, in Nkrumah, there was a Chieftaincy Act that gave reverence to the chiefs. And in the 1992 Constitution, I can confidently say Article 13(1) of the Constitution also stipulates that customary law is part of the law in usage, and then so, and if you link it to Article 270 of our Constitution, where it is chieftaincy institution is guaranteed in the Constitution, and the same Article 270, Section 3 of it. In fact, that one also prevent the Parliament from enacting laws that will affect the dignity of the chieftaincy institution. So this tells you how important the chieftaincy institution is, and how important the Constitution of Ghana also places reverence on the chieftaincy institution. So certainly, we also don't do things in a vacuum. When it comes to conflict resolution, there are certain conflicts which is beyond, which is within our purview, which we can administer, and there are certain conflicts where maybe there is an increased violence to the point of wielding weapons and then shooting sporadically. Certainly, this, I would say, is beyond us. We need professionals like the armed forces, the police, to come in. And where they also come in and fail to act professionally, in the case I mean, let me just say they acted unprofessionally. And even after that, police, the police had leadership in Tamale.
The commander?
Let me just say the leadership of police in Tamale, we met at a regional coordinating council. That was last year. And then they apologized to to the people of Dagbon, to the chiefs for that particular area, because after the shooting, the police had to seek refuge in the palace, Lamashagu Palace, where the Labashana said nobody should go in. So he protected the police until they came with reinforcement, and then he handed the police over to them. We could have also closed our eyes and let them kill the police. But do two wrongs make a right?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, so I just want to say that we have appealed to reasoning in that direction and then ensure the safety of the police.
Let's look at politics, balancing chieftaincy and politics. It's a very interesting area.
Yes.
Chiefs who want to go into politics and how chiefs even maneuver their way around politicians like MPs with their jurisdiction in constituencies and demanding for what is right to be done and provided for the people.
I think, let me just say that wisdom is not a preserve for the educated. We have chiefs who are, let me just say, unlettered. And then today we have in Dagbon, for instance, we have elites, academics who are chiefs. Let me just look at this our woman chief, the Ghana of Yelzwele. She's a retired banker. And then we have a career diplomat on whose land we are doing this discussion now. Ambassador Anarna is a career diplomat. And then he has been in the foreign service for over 30 years. And then today he's the chief of Sanargo. So we have a lot of them. And then we have the former CEO of Stanbic Bank, now the chief of Tipishigu. Chief Alasan and then so many initiatives over there. And I can assure you that even today, if he's going to a higher distance, the people of Pishigu will not be happy because of what he is doing to them. And we have a lot of them in Dagbon today doing a wonderful job for their people.
Okay.
Yes. Let me just zero it onto my own chief. When we ascended the throne in 2012, chief was using his own money to pay for people's school fees, people who had admissions abroad and couldn't afford their tickets. He was buying their tickets for them until people start scamming us. Let me use the word scam.
Wow.
Because they will go and then they will know where they will get the admission letters. And then they will
presenting fake documents.
Yes. I got to know this because I'm also coming from Tamale, the then Tamale Polytechnic, now Tamale Technical University. So someone came for chief to support him to pay his fees. So we requested for admission. When I picked the admission, I suspected it. So quickly I took it to school, ran a check on it, and I noticed that no, he only cancelled that person's name and then inserted his name there.
Wow.
So we realized that, you know, it will not worth it when we continue, because I cannot go to Kumasi to check from, we have plenty of universities in Ghana. So how can you run a check on all these things? So we decided that we should, instead of maybe continuing to pay this fees.
I hope that didn't deter chief from
it didn't deter him, but because of the rampant distance, at a point in time we decided to look at other areas instead of distance. And so people abuse it. And I can assure you that there are a lot of chiefs who are doing this. And my chief, let me just say, in the area of education, he has Baria Islamic Institute. He gave them about 35-acre land to build a school. And then he gave Nuria Islamic Institute to build a school. Yes. And then so many institutions, he has given them lands to build school.
Okay.
So all these things are happening. Yes, that's his contribution.
People are itching to know as well, how do chiefs do all of this? Where is the money coming from? Where is the support coming from? Where is the funding? Is it just the sale of lands?
No, I think even the sale of land, you know, our constitution doesn't allow us to use the word sale.
Okay.
Allocation of lands.
Okay.
The constitution will allocate lands.
Allocation of lands.
Yes. So yes, I think the issue of allocation of lands is just a recent development, because it is when these lands were divested and were given back to the chiefs that maybe the chiefs started allocating land. But they used not to. I mean, if you count those that were within the government planning zone, like Tamale Central, those they only do for them, government will give you the land. But for within our local jurisdictions, the chief will only tell you where do you want to, then you go there and then build your house. That's how I mean they used to give out this land. But anytime chief also wants something, the community will contribute so that they will carry out whatever project they have.
Okay.
Until such a time that the tradition, that was how it used to be. You only take a cooler, there, and the chief will ask you go to where you want to settle and then start developing the place.
Okay.
Until we have these statutory planning committees and what have you that have also come into it, and then they say we should stop this kind of I don't know, do I use haphazard development or whatever, unplanned development. So that is why this time around, before you do anything on the ground, that place needs to be planned. So yes, when this thing, planning also has a lot of cost. So you cannot just do it without taking something, by way of maybe recouping what you have put into the plan. Absolutely. And that is why this time around, maybe you don't get allocation for free. You have to maybe part with something so that they'll give it to you.
Okay, let's look at different backgrounds, people from different backgrounds, people from different religions. A lot of people actually assume even that only Muslims live in northern Ghana. No, this is Ghana. So we keep educating that there are lots of different religions.
I think
northern Ghana.
In northern Ghana, I can assure you that in Tamale, in northern Ghana, for instance, we have all the religions. I can assure you. Even Ekanka is in the northern region. We have Buddhists in the northern region. I mean, you mentioned them.
Yes.
I mean, maybe a few Asian religions that we cannot find here, like the Zoroastrianism, they are not here, Shintoism, but the other religions, they are all here. And if you come to Islam, we have right from the Sunni to the Ahmadis, all are in Tamale. And then when you go, we have the Orthodox churches to the Aladura churches. We have all of them in the northern region.
Absolutely. So
the only, let me just say this.
Yes, Chief.
In the northern region here, it's a very peaceful place. At times, how the media project northern region, if you are in the northern region, you see that they are two different things. And I'm saying this because I'm also coming from the media space. There was a time I was asking one guy, look at what you have written and look at what actually happened
on the ground.
Do they match? So, I don't know, because of something, I will have informed the people that you did it. But you know what it means. If you do that, you might also be putting his life online. So I only told him that if you are going to report what you have, report it as it is so that we can have peace.
Okay.
Now, the issue of
harmonious living,
yes, and that's what I'm coming
sex,
to.
intertribal.
I think we don't have problem with that because even some time ago we used to have dialogue between Christians and Muslims, initiated by the Catholic and other, So we have them in the northern region.
How about within the same religion?
Within the same religion,
like
we have intra-religious conflicts. Like, let me just say this: we have Sunni here. We have Tijaniya, we have Qadriya, we have Shia and the Ahmadis. We don't, the conflict used to be between the Sunnis and the Tijaniya. That was in the 60s, in the 70s. And the reason is that the Tijaniya was in the northern region here before the advent of the Sunni Muslim community. So any new thing that is coming, there should be rivalry because we don't know the nature. Of your modus of operandi. We don't know it. So certainly, are you coming to take our people or you are coming to do this? But let me just tell you that one thing about Islam: the Ahmadis, the Sunnis, the whatever, they are using the same Quran.
Okay.
So maybe we have what I will term as doctrinal differences. Maybe the Sunni look at it this way, the Tijani look at it that way, and the Shia look at it this way.
Does it get to the extent, Chief, where there are conflicts between
certainly
to come in?
Certainly, even in the constitution we are using today, don't we have conflicts in the constitution? We do. That's why we go for a judicial review and then we go for administrative review. All these things are there. The constitution itself is there. But at times they will come and tell you that this doesn't gel well with the people. That is why we have amendments, we have repeal, and even in some cases we expunge them. Because for instance, we all know if you kill, you are supposed to be killed. Is that not it? But the constitution today in Ghana, we repeal that, the death penalty.
Yeah.
And then we now have sentences like life imprisonment in the case of murder, and then we have 0 to life imprisonment in the case of manslaughter. All these things are there. So what it means is that, yes, depending upon how we view things and we interpret things, that is where the conflict is.
Okay, Chief. Let's look at other cultural practices in the region. Culture is dynamic and times keep changing as well. What are some of the things that chiefs also do?
I think, let me just, why I want to always use my palace as an example, because that's where I am operating. When we started, we met with the security chiefs in the region, and they told us, and then we even met judges, we met lawyers for briefings, and they told us what we can do as traditional authorities and what we cannot do per the law. And then the police will tell us these are bailable issues the chiefs can get involved in. When you do ABZ, it will spoil your name. So we know all these things, and then we work around them. We don't go, let me just say, we don't transgress because we are chiefs, so we don't do that. And so when cases come, we look at those that we can handle or we have the capacity to handle. Those we cannot handle, we advise that the law enforcement agencies should take hold of them and then deal with them. Because, you know, chiefs, we don't have the capacity to deal with murder cases.
Absolutely.
We don't. We don't have the capacity to deal with manslaughter. And even there are all criminal offenses under our 1960 criminal code, we don't have the capacity to deal with them. But those that we can go and bail, certainly, I mean, like when people have scaffolds and then it results to go into the police, certainly we can go in for those motor traffic offenses. Yes, we can go in and other. But when it comes to drugs, issue of rape, defilement, these are serious criminal issues. I mean,
but it's alleged that they come to the palaces as well sometimes for interpretation.
You see, you know, it is a human institution, and even in our laws, our statutes and whatever, we have exceptions. So where maybe, you know, they come and then maybe, because like I said, there are some that will even happen, no chief will be aware of it, no law enforcement. The family will just, the family will just resolve it at home. They are in such cases, we will not hear anything. It is only when they disagree that the police or the palace will get to know about it. Otherwise, no.
All right. Social issues. Since we talked about rape and drugs, Tamale, you know, recently there was a documentary on BBC. Africa Eye on opioid abuse in Tamale. Streetism has been around for a while. I remember a former mayor trying to get a lot of kids off the street. Lack of parental responsibility under the guise of just keep giving birth, leave the kids on the streets. God will cater for them. What do traditional authorities do about this?
You see, this is, let me just correct this impression about people say, God doesn't help you if you don't help yourself. God will never come down to help you or come in the open to help you if you don't help yourself. So what it means is that even if this TV set, they have given it to me and I don't go to take it home and I walk with the expectation that, or with the hope that it will follow me, it will never follow me home. So that is the simple reason we want to look at or even have to maybe think about. Because one, if you just say no, now no Yulba, if your father decided that let me also leave you in the street, do you think you are having so useful to the point of going to seek for someone's daughter in marriage and they'll give her to you? It's not possible. Because they saw you as a responsible person, that's why they have given the daughter to you. And you see, let me just say this. As for the Quran or the religion, I can confidently say something about it, but I cannot talk for other scriptures. Because if you come, there is somewhere the Prophet himself tells us that all of us are custodians, that all of us are custodians, and we will ask to account on our custody. I mean, that is it. I don't want to say it in Arabic because no, people might not understand, yes, but I can quote it comfortably in Arabic too. Yes, so what they are saying here is that they have given you responsibility. Once you know that you cannot look after a child, you have no business bringing a child into this world. We know there may be natural causes. Maybe someone might be an affluent person today and tomorrow become a commoner. That one, it happens due to natural causes and all one. So all these things are there. Maybe in the course of that, people will understand you. But where you have decided to leave your child in the street, it is not a good thing. And I'm assuring parents that on the day of judgment, they will stand for a very long time to account for this negligence.
I hope they are listening.
Yes, they will account for this negligence. You have the duty. It is imperative on you.
What is the culture of the Dagomba people? Does it abhor leaving your kids on the street?
Certainly in Dagbon. You know, I mean, because of 21st century modernization, in Dagbon those days, after 8 o'clock, they will lock all the gates of the various houses. The compound, they will lock the gates. So you cannot, after 8 o'clock, unless maybe you have traveling, you are coming back home. You will come to knock and they will open you. That was it. But you see, today, these things are not happening. How can you, a parent, be sleeping and you don't even know where your
child is?
This is not a good practice. And let me commend that male, Superior, I guess. Superior did so well. But this is where I also have difficulties with politics. I'm not saying politicians, with politics. Because it goes with the goodies.
The continuity. I'm sure that's what you mean. Yes. If we have to wrap up. So I just want you to final comment on the drug abuse. Yes. What is your call out there?
Yes, I think the chieftaincy institutions, the youth leaders in Dagbon, in collaboration with the security agencies.
I know there's a task force.
Yes, should come out to fight this menace with all their heart in the name of Mother Ghana. Because these are our future. If we don't mold them to fit into the future, then we have failed as bringing them up as parents. So this is just what I want to say. And I think the chiefs actually were supportive of this. Because the initiative came from our palace, Gutyago Palace. We started it. And this BBC documentary we are talking about, that day I was doing the interpretation. So I was there that day, and it was something very lively.
Absolutely. But I'm not sure that's how we want to be picturing Dagbon in the media. So hopefully this, comes to end, and responsibility of guardians and parents, as Chief has made the call, is taken keenly to ensure that the streetism that we see in Dagbon, where we are currently, and the drug abuse as well, comes to a stop, reduced to the barest minimum, and eventually eradicated. We'll end our conversation here. Thank you so much, Chief. I've been speaking to Palong Zobwana Mohammed Rashad Abdullahi. He's secretary to the Paramount Chief of the Gutja traditional area in Tamale, sharing insights about the Chieftaincy institution in Dagbon. Our sponsors are Passion Air. Thank you so much for flying us all the way here and back. House of Salma for my costume. UDS Dungu campus is where we're sitting currently. By Faith Catering Services is taking care of our local cuisine, and so you see them in a short while. And UDS Guest House as well. Shout out to Chairman Momin. I am multi-deciders at the really multi-deciders at the Guest More on GTV Breakfast.
Mantenya la bobo nuzo nyala sarate Tatpata nero unzo pe targete Unzo come never let, come never let. Come misa